What is going on, everyone? Commodore Last here. For the first time on the channel, we'll be discussing the top 10 best-selling manga of 2024. Now, these lists are provided each year by Oricon, a Japanese corporate group that not only collects statistics and information on the music industry, but also for manga volume sales. Normally around the time of December of the last year, going into November of the current year, they usually collect the data from that, from the manga volume sales that have come out, and then we get these lists to look after each and every single year. We're going to be using their statistics and what they've collected from December of 2023 all the way until the end of November 2024. The list that just came out, I figured this would be a good time to talk about in a video, so let's go ahead and discuss it. Now, some of the series on here you may be familiar when it comes to my coverage of them. Some of them you may not even know that I actually do read them or watch the series that have made the list. Some of them I may not be completely aware of, and some of them that I may not be as big of a fan. But regardless of all that, let's go ahead and talk about the top 10 best-selling manga of 2024. And we are starting things off with number 10. We have Spy Family, 2.6 million copies sold, landing at the number 10 spot. Now, this should not come as a surprise whatsoever. I love Spy Family. I think it's, for me, one of my favorite ongoing manga. The anime is absolutely incredible. I know we just got done season 2 last year. Cold White, the first movie that just came out, and we know that season 3 should be coming out sometime next year because it's been in production for a little while. So imagine around the time of Jump Festival, we may get news regarding it in due time, but I am excited for what's to come for Spy Family. I know that we've been going through a lot of the breaks recently. We just got on another like 1 month hiatus. So I'm hoping that Endo's gonna be okay, because listen, we need to keep on pushing the greatness. The anime is incredible, but I would do implore for anyone who is interested in the manga to definitely go and check it out. The material is absolutely goated, and it's easily, for me, one of my favorite ongoing. So it's a no-brainer right here that it's in the top 10, and hopefully with season 3 coming out next year, we should see its sales go up a little bit more. So shout out to Spy Family making it into the top 10. Now, coming in at number 9 isn't too much of a surprise. I expected to be on here. I don't know what's going to be like for it next year, but My Hero Academia coming in at number 9 with 2.9 million copies sold. For those of you who might be aware, I have covered My Hero Academia in the past. I did cover it from the end of the overhaul arc all the way up until, I believe, when like the war stuff was going on in the manga, and then I kind of just stopped talking about it afterward. My interest in the series kind of wavers from time to time. Some days I actually enjoy it. You know, My Villain Academia for me is still the peak of the entire series. When it got into the stuff afterwards with like the Hulk Hogan girl from America coming into the mix, I was just completely taken out. I do know that the manga had just come to an end not too long ago. Season 7 had just finished up sometime, I think, this year. We know that the final season's coming out in 2025. So yeah, there's no surprise whatsoever that it'll be on this list. I don't know what it's going to be like for next year. I imagine that the sales are still strong. It might still be in that number 9, number 10 spot for 2025, but it's nice to see My Hero here, and hopefully it won't be too long until Horikoshi gets his next series coming out, because I do want to see them back in Shonen Jump, get a little bit of rest, revitalize some of the ideas and stuff, and then come back strong after. So shout out to My Hero Academia making it at the number 9 spot. Now, coming in at number 8, we gotta say it properly. I gotta say it with my heart. Haruichi Furudate's masterpiece, the Haikyuu, coming in at number 8 with 3 million copies sold. Y'all know Haikyuu, my GOAT, my favorite sports series. I had the absolute pleasure of covering this series week in, week out, from the beginning, middle portions of Nationals all the way up until the conclusion of the story. It is, to me, one of my all-time favorite series. Seeing it on this list here, I would imagine that a lot of the sales that are coming from Haikyuu getting into the position that it's in is coming from the Nekoma movie that just came out not too long ago. And we do know for a fact that there is a second movie supposed to be coming out. I would imagine sometime next year. I know Jump Fest is going to be coming out in December, so we should have some rough idea of when the next movie will be. I am hoping, though, that we get like an extra movie in there, because I don't think we need to, you know, speed run the manga with the 100-some chapters we have left of the story all into like one movie. I don't think that needs to be done whatsoever. But I am hoping for the best when it comes to this series. It is one of my all-time favorites. It deserves the best. I'm hoping it stays into the top 10 next year with the last movie coming out, or hopefully the next 2 coming out from there. Shout out to Haikyuu, shout out to Furudate. I'm hoping that we do get a new series from them sooner than later. The Haikyuu coming in there at number 8. Now, coming in at number 7 is something that longtime viewers of this channel should know. It is actually one of the first series that I covered here on the channel, and that is the Kingdom Greatness of Yasuhisa Hara, coming in at number 7 with 3.2 million copies sold. It just warms my heart just to see the greatness of Kingdom on here. If y'all have never read Kingdom, to me, it's up there with one of the greatest binging experiences I've ever had in my life, man. I covered the manga from basically the very beginning portions of the Western Style Invasion arc all the way up until, I believe, a certain point in time like into like the 600s and so, and then I kind of just let it teeter off for a bit. I am caught back up with the manga again, and it has been sensational these last couple of years. I would imagine a lot of the stuff that's coming here in terms of its sales are not just from the fact of the, you know, it always gets talked about like on TV shows or celebrities or so, or just like, you know, praising it, talking about it on television, saying, yo, you need to peep the greatness. I have heard nothing but good things when it comes to the anime, which is foreign to me because I know the first 2 seasons are, they're not my style in terms of the way that they've adapted it, but I've heard from season 3 onwards it has been a improvement to where things were before, and I'm really happy to see that it's pushed things up to where it's at the number 7 spot. I do think there's another season for it coming out for season 6, I believe, because 5 was finished up not too long ago. So I would imagine that we're going to get continuation of that. I think it's going to be the Western Salvation arc. I could be wrong. That's the next season after, but if I'm not, let me know down in the comments. But I honestly, man, it's just really cool to see Kingdom in this spot right here. It deserves to be recognized as one of the best manga ongoing, and the fact that its sales are showing its recognition where it's at, we love to see it. So shout out to Kingdom coming in at number 7. Now coming in at number 6 is a series that I haven't really gone into whatsoever, but I have heard about it. I have seen panels, I've seen clips here and there for it, and I'm talking about Kaiju number 8 coming in at number 6 with 3.3 million copies sold. With this one, I'll just say right now, I like me some kaiju, so this is one of those where I definitely want to be able to check out in the near future. I don't know when exactly that will be, whether it be with the manga, with the anime. For those of you, of course, who are fans of the series, let me know down in the comments below which one you think I should go with when it comes to getting into this series. I do know that the anime came out not too long ago for it. I do think there may be a season 2 in the pipe works very soon, as well as, of course, when it comes to the manga, the sales for that have definitely gone up because of the anime and, you know, how the manga has been received and all that. A lot of recommendations, stuff from different mangakas and like celebrities possibly from it. So it's really cool just to see it up on here. It's been highly regarded as one of the best series coming out, you know, from Shueisha in a long time, and I know a few people who do enjoy it, who like it and talk about it. Can't say anything bad on it whatsoever, so it's definitely something I'm going to keep on my radar for the near future. But Kaiju number 8 coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5. I'm not going to put too much talk into it, but I am going to recognize it because it is in the top 5. Blue Lock has made it number 5 with 3.8 million copies sold. I'll just say this. I'm going to shout out Kaneshiro and Nomura for what they've been able to do when it comes to getting this series into the top 5. Like, that's something I can't just ignore completely because it wouldn't be the right thing to do as the human being, as a content creator. I will not be discouraging whatsoever. However, it is not my cup of tea when it comes to football. I know the anime is a big thing what pull people in, and the manga art style and stuff is nice at times and everything. It's just not one of them ones for me. But if someone can make me a convincing argument that this series is worth the time and everything, by all means, shout out to it at the very least for making it into the top 5. I would imagine that the following seasons to come are probably going to boost it up, so it's going to be here for the next little while. Shout out to Kaneshiro and Nomura with Blue Lock coming in at number 5. Now coming in at number 4 is a series I have heard nothing but great things about, and I'm hoping I'm not going to butcher its name because I've been pronouncing it in the background for a while, so hopefully we get it right on the first time. But coming in at number 4 with 4.7 million copies sold, the Apothecary Diaries, and I hope I got it right on the first time, but if not, we're just gonna go with Diaries to play it safe. This one right here is a very interesting one. I know a lot of people who enjoy the anime for it. The anime, I believe, it just came to an end sometime in the spring for season 1, and season 2 is set to come out in January of 2025. This one's basically about this girl who ends up getting sold to an emperor as like this lowly servant. Something ends up happening with one of the heirs. Because she has like this extensive knowledge when it comes to medicine, she ends up curing them, and then she ends up becoming afterwards like the food tester for like the consort to the emperor. I believe there's like probably more context that goes beyond it, but because it deals with like drama, mystery, and there are hints here and there of romance, apparently those are all avenues that are up my alley, so I will definitely be looking out for this one. And it's highly regarded, again, for it to be in number 4, be recognized as one of the top 5 best-selling manga of this calendar year. It's gotta be saying something. But for those of you who are fans of the Apothecary Diaries, let me know about the greatness. Let me know if this is something I should be keeping on my radar. We may end up having to do Twitch streams possibly on the anime to see what the vibes are like, so I'm looking forward to that. The Apothecary Diaries, number 4, 4.7 million copies sold. Shout out to that series. Coming in at number 3, warms my heart beyond Journey's End, because coming in at number 3 with 4.9 million copies sold is the greatness that is Frieren. This right here means something to me, man. From Yamada to Tsukasa, this is everything, man. The anime was a phenomenal experience when it came to season 1. I think honestly was an absolute smash hit last year. Just one of the best ones that I have seen in a long time. I genuinely believe this is the series that has put Madhouse back on the map. We all know it as one of the all-time great studios, but it feels like for a while it hasn't really gone anything, you know, in terms of, you know, to making people like remember the greatness of this studio. Frieren came out and it's like, yeah, you know exactly why this right here is that real greatness, but it all comes down to the work Yamada and Tsukasa have done with Frieren. And I caught up with the manga not too long ago, the current events right now and what I expect to come in season 2, because we do know it's in production. I am hoping it's gonna be coming out sometime in 2025, if not towards the back end of it. Season 2 is gonna be even crazier than season 1. I'll just say that much. For it to be almost nearing like 5 million copies in sales is just amazing to see, and I do expect it to be here for the long haul. So shout out to Frieren coming in at number 3, 4.9 million copies sold. We love to see it. Now coming in at number 2 should be no surprise. It will always be in the top 10. It will always be in the top 3. But this year it finishes at number 2, and that is One Piece with 5.2 million copies sold for the number 2 spot. Now, there's a lot of factors that come into play for this. Obviously, of course, you only had 3 volumes that came out in the time period that Oricon was covering the data from December to November of this year. A lot of that comes down to the fact of Oda taking a lot more breaks. I know he's been involved in production when it comes to the live action. I know that in terms of him being like sick a lot of the times has played a factor, but still to be at least in the number 2 spot is really good. I know like when people look at like, oh, it's only sold 5 million copies with 3 volumes and all that, you have to imagine like everybody in Japan has to have One Piece volumes. Like even the guy that may not be the biggest fan got volumes there. It's no surprise though that it's in the number 2 spot. I would really hope though to see that by next year things will improve a little bit more in terms of, you know, getting an extra volume in there. I would hope though at the very least that when it comes to, you know, the anime being as strong as it's been right now with the egghead coverage and where we are currently right now in the manga when it comes to Elbaf, are things that are going to help, you know, shoot up its numbers into next year and maybe, you know, get closer back into that 10 million range that we're so used to it seeing. But One Piece made it into the top 2 right there, 5.2 million copies sold. We love to see it. But coming in at number 1, this right here means something to me because my guy throwing up the stance 2 in that last volume right there. Coming in number 1 is Jujutsu Kaisen, Akutami Gege's masterpiece with 7.6 million copies sold. This isn't the first time Jujutsu Kaisen's hit number 1 when it comes to sales and everything, but seeing it here after everything that's happened in the last year, you know, when it comes to the manga coming to an end, and I know that people have their feelings and reasonings. I know I do, definitely having given it time and seeing, you know, how I basically feel with the end of the story, knowing that season 2 pushed things to that level. You know, I believe some of the sales as well when it came to volume 0 with the movie played its part, and we know that season 3 is in production. So I would imagine that next year, on top of the fact that the last 2 volumes are set to come out in December, so it's going to count for next year's sales, it will definitely still be in here. I would be shocked if somehow, some way it wasn't in there, but it will be probably in the top ones there. It makes me so happy though to see that despite everything that's happened to it in the last year, it's still recognized as one of the best selling, and hopefully it will still be regarded as that at the very least in 2025. But shout out to Gege, shout out to Kaisen, and on Gege's part, I'm really hoping that, you know, they take the time to rest, enjoy the success that they've had with the series, and then come back strong with their next work. So Jujutsu Kaisen coming in number 1, 7.6 million copies sold. So that is the top 10 best-selling manga of 2024. A lot of favorites that I have on here in terms of series that I've covered or I do read from time to time. A couple of them, you know what, I may consider checking out, and then the obvious one is the obvious one. But let me know down in the comments below how we're feeling about the top 10 best-selling manga of 2024. Let me know if there's some surprises in terms of omissions, in terms of some series you felt maybe could have made it on here that didn't end up making on here. And let me know what series do you expect to see make the list for next year, because I do have a couple that I feel will make a beeline into the top 10 depending on how things go with their current adaptations in the anime, as well as coming back from long-staying hiatuses when it comes to anime. Dotted on, I do feel like the success of season 1 right now has been astronomically amazing, and I do expect it to be in the top 10 at some point in 2025. The other series as well that I do feel will be on here, just because every time they come back from my hiatus, they drop a volume and we know it's out, I'm going to collect it. I'm talking about Hunter x Hunter. Togashi right now has been on his game since coming back from hiatus, and he has enough right now for a volume, may have enough for a second volume, and if that ends up being the case, I very much expect him to be in the top 10. That should be the case, because we want to see Togashi putting out content, we want to see him putting out greatness, and then when greatness is out, we recognize them as we do here on these lists. Like the video if you enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest that goes on here. And with that all being said, I will catch you guys in the next video, and I will see you, of course, next year for the top 10 best-selling manga of 2025. Commodore Lad signing off. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care.